morning. Good morning. Can everybody hear me well? Okay, this is a honored uh, event today because the African American Automatic Caucus has been fighting for over 10 years today to recognize who we are and what we stand for in our community. I've been up since 1 o'clock practicing what I want to say to make sure that I do not forget any of our people that were there before us. When I say people that were before us, our ancestors and the aldermen that we stood on their shoulders to help us to get where we are today. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those people. And so I am honored to stand here as the chair of the African Automatic Caucus, and I am proud that we have been fighting for a long time to make sure that our city is looked at in a holistic manner and equal manner. So I stand here before the pioneers that begun the journey for our city. They came into a period where we weren't wanted and accepted in this city. But they fought to assist us to get to this point. And I want to say thank you. This is the year of raising the flag, and this is our 10th year. We as the caucus wanted this unique and make it a remembrance of history. I would not be at this place at this time without the previous alder people that stand behind me. The person that father was a part of this, Terry Kennedy, his father was the foundation that kept this city going to make them understand how important we as African Americans were. I now introduce to you the mayor of the city of St. Louis, and after she says a few words, we will have the honorable, and I know he'll say I'm not the alder person, but he will always be our alder person, Terry Kennedy, and he will complete the program. Thank you.
Good morning and happy Black History Month. I am Tashara O. Jones. The O stands for Oh So St. Louis. And I'm happy to be here today with colleagues, old and new. It's great to see such a reunion here today of aldermen. I remember being about 7 or 8 years old and coming down here with my dad every Friday and sitting in his chair and spinning around and around and around until I got so dizzy that I was sick. But what that told me, what that introduced me to, was that public service was a part of my family. And it ignited something in me that one day I would get a chance to serve. And so I bring you greetings on behalf of my dad, who was a former alder of the 27th Ward, the first Black man to be alderman of the 27th Ward. And also want to wish everybody a happy Black History Month, and hope that we take this opportunity to see what rich history African Americans have contributed to this wonderful city. Thank you all, and God bless.
Yes, I rarely take this mask off nowadays. But this is the 10th anniversary of us raising this flag here at City Hall. That alone is worth celebrating. To all of the distinguished individuals here, to our mayor, to the past alder people, to the individuals that actually founded the African American Caucus who stand behind me, we follow in those footsteps. In 1926, Dr. Carter G. Woodson had the idea that it was necessary to have what he called Negro History Week. Dr. Woodson had studied history and had realized in all of his study how little that he could read about people that looked like him. How often the history and the contributions of people of color, particularly those of African descent, were left out of the history books and were not taught. In many cities at that time in 1926, it was in fact illegal to teach black history in schools. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yes. Going on today.
Very brave individuals like Dr. Carter G. Woodson and our own local Miss Julia Davis, who made it their life's work to improve the condition of our community by teaching this history. My own mother was a student of Julia Davis. She said that after that they would do the Pledge of Allegiance, she would close the shade and lock the door, and they would sing, lift every voice and sing, and then she would teach black history, knowing that she was risking her job to do it. Thank goodness she did. In 1926, they inaugurated the Negro History Week. In the 60s, it was expanded to the month and was called Black History Month, to what we have here today. It is celebrated not only in the United States, but in Canada. It is also in many countries in Africa, including South America, Burkina Faso, Senegal, and others. It has become an international recognition of the contribution of African people. Well, we come all the way until 2014, when our own Sam Moore, Alderman Samuel Moore, had this brilliant idea to raise the red, black, and green flag publicly in the cold in February. So we wrote that resolution proudly, presented it to the floor, and it passed without opposition to raise this flag. St. Louis was the first major city to do it. Following it has been Toronto, Canada, and now other cities throughout the United States, some in this area, beginning to raise the red, black, and green for Black History Month. Wow, St. Louis was a first with something good this time. We must remind ourselves of the good things that happen here, how much we have led the nation in all levels of civil rights, justice issues, and things that have made America a much better place to live. And so then, that February 7th, we passed that resolution and came out here in the cold and raised that red, black, and green flag. What a good day to raise a flag it is today. What a good day it is to recognize the contributions of people of color, of African people in this city. The red, black, and green flag was established by the Universal Negro Improvement Association in 1920 in Madison Square Garden. 25,000 members of that organization gathered at Madison Square Garden that only held 19,000, and they adopted the Articles of the Universal Human Rights of the Negro People. Article 39 established the red, black, and green flag as the flag of that people internationally. This organization was founded by Marcus Garvey. The significance of that time is to remember that there was a popular song that said, everybody in the world but the Negro. They didn't say the Negro. The song said, everybody in the world but the coon has a flag. Yeah, I said coon. That was the name of the song. And so those members of the Universal Negro Improvement Association were adamant that from here on out, we're going to have a flag. And they adopted under Article 39 the red, black, and green as the flag of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African people worldwide. With that glorious history, in 2014, we established raising that flag for Black History Month. What a legacy to stand upon. What accomplishments have been continued. How great that work has been. And so we have here behind us all these distinguished individuals who are now telling me my time is up. But all right, they said they didn't say it, but they were thinking it. I mean, y'all asked me to come out here and speak. And we have a happy group behind us. As I said, many of them here were also founders of the caucus. We continued that legacy as it continues here today. And so we gather on this day, no matter what the weather is, to raise the red, black, and green flag in honor of the accomplishments of people of African descent in St. Louis and around the world. What a great day to raise a flag. Thank you.